Like, hippie guy, hasn't brushed his hair in a long time, make love, not money. So the heart behind that is that the nerds really love to do our spreadsheets and to calculate and to plan, and the free spirits are literally a party looking for a place to happen. That's both my brother and sister. They are a lot of fun to hang out with. Free spirit?
Yeah.
In the Mustang? I can see it. It'd probably be a convertible too, huh? Like hair's going in the wind. So, if you choose to get married in the future, this is one really amazing thing. So, the preacher says, two become one flesh, right? And like, yeah, dun dun da da, dun dun da da, here you go, boom. Except for it doesn't quite happen that way. In God's eyes, that's exactly what just happened. Like the two are becoming one flesh. But in our eyes, we're like, hey, I'm pretty cool by myself, and I'll be even better because I'm inviting you to come party with me. But it's different. So as we start talking about money and finances and how you can work together, because oftentimes couples start pulling apart, right? One's the saver and one's the spender, or one's the nerd and one's the free spirit. And if their goals are not aligned, then it can be problematic in your marriage. Like we were talking about, 44% of the marriages that end in divorce are a result of money fights or money problems. So this is a picture of these Belgian draft horses. If you take one of these massive horses, they're a lot like the Clydesdales. And look at this picture. I'm not even sure that's a real picture. The guy looks real, but the horse is just massive, right? So one of these giant horses can pull 8,000 pounds by themselves. That's a lot. My truck is like 5,000 pounds. So 1.5 of my trucks. A little bit more. Two of these that haven't trained together can pull 17,000 pounds. So a little bit more than double. But if you train them for 6 to 8 weeks, two of these Belgian draft horses pulling together in the same direction, they can pull 25,000 pounds. So over 3 times the amount that one can do by themselves. And so as you're choosing your life partners, I would like you to consider who you're yoking yourself to. Right? There's a lot of, there could be a whole nother hour of a sermon right here. That's a different conversation as well. But who you yoke yourself to is important. And if you have the major things together and you're able to pull together, it's going to be much easier for you. Anybody have any questions on giant Belgian draft horses?
Yeah, where can I get one?
Great question.
How much is one?
That's a great question too. Maybe I should come up with some answers to these questions before I ask, does anybody have questions about these horses? I imagine there are a lot. So this is the picture of the day that I graduated from college. This is actually my cousin, oddly enough, kind of photobombing before that was me. No, I love him. He's a great guy. And then there's my beautiful wife, Jennifer. So we paid off $309,000 of debt. There's a couple of... Ouch. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. How we got into that was pretty fun. So we had a $1,000 hospital bill. My wife had some, like an ovarian cyst burst. So anybody knows anything about that? Very, very painful. So I got to carry her into the ER. So I'm not a nurse, but I almost could be. But it was really more of like taking care of my aging grandmother. Like I had to give my wife shots when we were pregnant of progesterone. And then I gave my grandma shots when she was in the nurse. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Anyways, I'm not a nurse. I'm like, almost. So when I'd start talking to them, like you start picking up the lingo and they would, 9 times out of 10, they would start asking, are you in the healthcare industry? No, I'm just trying to listen and like understand, absorb this, and then regurgitate what I've learned.
That's step 1 right there.
Yeah. So my wife had a car that cost us $10,000. The two of us together, we worked full-time during the day and went to school at night. So we racked up $72,000 of student loans. Oh, that was a lot. Yeah, and some of you may be there now, some of you may head there. I would encourage you to stay away from that as much as you possibly can. And then we bought a home back in 2007, and our mortgage balance at that point was $226,000. So it's just really easy, very regular stuff. I mean, we could show this to some financial people and they go, I don't know, looks like you're doing pretty good. You got all the right types of debt and you're going to pay them off. And hey, that hospital bill is 0%. Yeah. You still have to pay it back though. So by 2012, we had paid it down to $63,000. The student loans at that point were $52,000. The mortgage was down to $211,000, and then we had some super high daycare costs, about $1,700 a month for 2 kids. So this is a picture of me and my wife, bun in the oven there, and then my son Jackson, who's about 2.5 years older than my daughter. That's another series right there, just talking about being a parent. Wow, it's an adventure. You guys got to this age, right? I remember being your age. It wasn't that long ago. If my wife was here, she'd go, Justin, you're actually pretty old. You're not, stop trying to relate to the younger kids. I am 35, and I know that probably seems really old, but you'll be 35 before you know it. So, as of December of 2017, we had paid everything off. And so, it is kind of an interesting story on how we got through the entire process. But this is a picture of my wife and my daughter and son, so you can see how they're much bigger now. My son was Mr. Cool Guy there. He's usually smiling like crazy, but he was cool at the southernmost point in Key West, Florida. So it turns out that's actually not a great place to take a family vacation. It's really beautiful, but it's not really kid-friendly. There's a couple things I'm filtering out on that.
During this time, were you like an executive VP somewhere or investment banker?
Yeah, I was like $1 million a year. No, I wasn't anywhere near any of that. So I actually processed loans for Rick. That's a great question. So it was all very regular type jobs, right? So after processing loans, I went and worked as a financial analyst. And I spent 2.5 years at the Housing Authority, and then spent another 2.5 years with Comcast looking at their giant numbers and helping them understand what was going on inside of each of these accounts. My wife had received several promotions. She's in human resources. She started off as a specialist, and then she worked into management, and then she actually just took a new job at Omnitrax as a compensation manager. So she's going to be looking at how people get paid and trying to determine how they should be getting paid. So yeah, I would love to say that I was a senior vice president or that I was a CEO of something, but it was all regular jobs that you could certainly have within the next 4 to 8 years. One of those jobs could easily be one of your jobs. What do you think about that? It wasn't like I just got $1 million and I just paid off all the debt. That would have been way easier. Nobody wanted to give me $1 million.
Yeah, hit the lottery or something.
Yeah, no lottery, just really, really hard work. So in Luke 14, it says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower, won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, this person began to build and wasn't able to finish. That doesn't sound very good. Does anybody want to be one of these people? There are no hands going up. That's good. Who would have thought that there was a Bible verse to talk about budgeting? It's all in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at analyzing a bank statement. Has anybody done this before? Yeah, we got a couple. All right, maybe we got some future finance majors over here. So one of the most important things is establishing some budget categories. So being the ultra nerd that I am, I have over 60 budget categories in my budget. But there's a lot of detail, and sometimes details are really great and they really help out. Some people would prefer to have about 8. Right? The free spirits are like, yeah, we don't need 3 or 4 different line items for food. We'll just go with food and we're good. I like to see groceries and eating out, fast food, so something eating out during the day versus eating out at night. I told you I'm a nerd, right? But the categories are super important as you try to understand where your money went and then ultimately where your money is going to go. So we're going to analyze the bank statement now. Okay.
Would you be willing to share those categories?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'd like to see it.
Well, this is fantastic. We're like stuck in presentation mode here. Maybe I'll close it out.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, that was an invoice actually from my buddy's roofing business that I do consulting
Oh,
on
that's
now.
an excellent.
We gotta take a moment and talk about that. So, back in March, I quit my regular W-2 job as a financial analyst because I had a real estate business that I've been working for the last 15 years, helping people buy and sell homes. And so that was one of the ways that God blessed us in the process of trying to get out of debt, was by providing more work for me to do and to serve more people and ultimately be able to make a little money in the process and then put that towards the debt. So I quit in March to do more real estate because I had a great year in the prior couple of years and thought, I really don't want to work 2 jobs anymore. I want to work 1 job. So I quit to do that, and then I really quickly picked up some financial consulting for a friend of mine's business. She was just needing some help kind of getting some arms around where the money's going and what they needed to do. And then her husband had a business as well, and he goes, yes, I definitely need some of that. You're hired. Okay, I could do that too. So as we look at analyzing a bank statement, does everybody see this okay? Because I can definitely make it bigger.
Maybe a little.
A little bit bigger? Okay. How about that?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
All right. So in a typical bank statement, we got John Doe's Bank of Banks here from Aurora. We got the account number, we got the account summary here. So looks like the starting balance was $1,102.56. The closing balance at the end of June in this scenario was $1,122.56. And so the way that broke down is we have all these withdrawals, and then on the bottom we've got some income. So this is our couple here would be John Doe and Jane Doe. And so we're going to go through and just going to categorize each of these transactions. And then there's another, because I'm a dork, right? So I got my spreadsheet here, tailoring into 3 different pages if we printed it off. So Bradley Sinclair here, we're getting some gas. What do you suppose the budget category would have been for that?
Transportation.
Transportation, yes. Thank you for your participation in transportation. This is exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to run through each of these lines and put a category to it. So Country Financial and this car insurance, what do you think that is?
Transportation.
All right. So Wells Fargo, we have a mortgage for $1,200.
Housing.
Home, there we go. So Belco Credit Union, we have a car loan. Transportation. See, I did the free spirit version of this. I was going to lose everybody if I had 60 budget categories. So Target, we bought some clothing. Oh, wait.
Target?
Maybe some shopping? Yeah, well, it could have been entertainment for somebody. Definitely not me. We'll go with shopping. So we got King Soopers for some groceries. What do you think that is? Food. All right. Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A. Give me some of that spicy chicken sandwich. They do a pretty good job with their chicken sandwiches. Joe Dewar? Yeah. Milkshakes are pretty good too.
They are.
Yeah. All right, so Excel for our gas and electric bill. Utilities. There we go. What about Comcast and their cable and internet? Entertainment. Yeah, you can go utilities. Yeah. I mean, could we really live without internet? Yeah.
Entertainment.
Contrary to common belief, we used to not have it. All right, yeah, we'll go with utilities on that. How about a cell phone? Utilities. Yeah, who's got a landline here now? Wow, there's more than I thought. I stopped having a landline like 13 years ago. I said, the only people who call me on that line are somebody who wants to sell me something, so forget it.
Yeah.
And now somehow they got my cell phone number.
Yeah.
They figured it out. All right, so we got the city water. Utilities. Okay, eating out here. We're going to Red Robin. Yum. Maybe? Maybe not? Well, we're still eating it. We'll go with food. We'll go with food. Okay, so we go back to King Soopers to drop another $95 for some groceries. Yeah, food. Don't worry, we're almost done. Maybe not. Taco Bell. Paycheck? Did we skip one? No. Okay. So Taco Bell, yeah, I'm going for some
I would
food.
say Taco Bell's a utility now.
Utility? Can we get some gas again for transportation? Oh, not medical. It's medical.
If you drank it, it'd be medical.
Yes, that's right. So we go to Home Depot for some home improvement.
Oh.
At home, yeah. We go to Chipotle, get some,
Food.
yeah, some food. The best part so far? Yeah?
You are home.
All right.
Wait,
so,
we brought
yeah.
some.
No.